Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Stern. I'm a neuroscience doctoral student at the School of Medicine.
Hi, I'm Su-Yan Yu. I'm a Master of Science and Social Policy candidate at the School of Social Policy and Practice.
Hi, I'm Minju Kim. I'm Master's of City Planning, concentrating on community and economic development at School of Design.
And my name's Adam Silver. I am a senior in the college and a second-year MPA student at Fells. So first of all, thank you all for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see so many people turn out, and we are especially grateful to have the opportunity to present to you. We're Team Philip Philly, as you can see, and we're going to talk to you today. First, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our program and what we're planning to do. Then my lovely teammates here will answer any and all of your many questions, I'm sure. So the problem that we'd like to speak with you all today really all began with a solution. And that solution was the National School Lunch Act. You see, in the 1940s, Americans were concerned that kids couldn't perform well in school when they were hungry. So Congress responded and passed the National School Lunch Act. In 1968, Congress amended that National School Lunch Act to include funding for summer meals. And what that funding looks like is, over the summer months, the federal government picks up the tab for every single meal that's delivered to an eligible kid. Now, while solving this issue, Congress made one rather bold assumption. Washington put their faith in federalism, and they thought that if they put the money on the table, then the rest of us, here at the state, local, and nonprofit levels, would make sure that that money got to kids. And that's the problem. Because the fact of the matter is that we haven't made sure that it's gotten to all the kids of Philadelphia, just some of them. And because of it, in the United States, only 1 out of 7 of those eligible kids actually receives the lunch that Congress is paying for. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, we're lauded as one of the leaders in the field. We get 50% of kids, but then again, our leadership is marked by almost halfway. And so what we found is that when an organization called No Child Hungry started thinking about this issue, they went to the parents, and they said, what could we do to make sure that your kids are coming to these sites, are getting their food? And among what the parents were looking for, 2 of their top answers were making sites, A, more accessible, and B, have recreational activities. So put simply, parents want a place that's convenient for their kids to find and a place that's fun to go to, somewhere where their kids want to go. With Philip Philly, we want to give kids and parents exactly what they're asking for, a place to eat that's convenient and fun. So we're proposing the creation of a rolling rec center. We want to take an unused school bus, rip out all the seats, throw an industrial refrigerator in the back, and then dedicate the rest of the inside and outside to having fun. And the idea here is we want to make it so that kids come for the fun and stay for the food. And as you know, in politics, it's good to have things private sector approved. Really, this is sort of the Happy Meal concept, is how we've been explaining it to so many. So we want to equip this rolling rec center with sporting activities to get kids active, coloring and rotating arts and crafts programs to engage a child's artistic side. And we're also happy to announce that iCivics, an interactive learning program, has agreed to be our partner and equip our bus with 8 to 10 computers, computers that will be loaded up with their civics-based learning games. The kid-friendly bus will not resemble that mustard yellow that we're familiar with from our childhood, but it'll be vibrantly colored and bring an activity into the neighborhoods that it enters. And we plan on bringing Philip Philly into 3 of those neighborhoods a day where the demand for food and activities for kids is incredibly high. We want to go into these neighborhoods where the end users live because the less than half of the hungry children who actually do receive funding are, in public policy terms, the low-hanging fruit. These are the kids enrolled in a Parks and Rec summer camp or who live next door to a park or a church that already is one of the existing sites. These are the ones that are easy to feed. With Philip Philly, we plan on going above and beyond the low-hanging fruit because the other 50% of Philadelphia's hungry children need this service as well. That's why we're currently working with the Philadelphia Hunger Coalition and the Mayor's Office to find locations where our program can be truly effective. Now, as I've mentioned, there already is an existing system in place. And this system is run by truly great organizations. And let me be clear, we do not mean to replace this system. We want to supplement it and reach the rest of the children. So we found that because of that, we found that many of the existing players are actually very excited about this idea. For example, Nutritional Development Services, which helps many of these sites operate, has offered to include us as one of their program sites this summer. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the organizations who make sure that Congress's promise of dollars turns into a promise of food to kids, have been helpful advisors along the way, with great feedback, positive tweaks to our program, and very good connections to the other major players in the field. We're also deep in conversation with United Way about providing a cash grant to help us fund some of the costs of the first summer, which we are obviously very excited about. These major stakeholders have committed to us because they believe that food accessibility and recreation accessibility are problems that, when hand in hand, can bring real results to an important issue. Now, we know that you guys aren't going to be awarding a winner today for ideas alone. You're here for those real results. And with Philip Philly, we know that those results are out there. You see, in Seattle, the Federal Way School District has begun to tackle this problem in a rather similar way to us. They use what they call Fred buses, which you could see there, not mustard yellow. And they found that using Fred buses has worked to deliver meals to kids. In their first summer alone, using Fred, the school district raised their summer meals delivered by 24%. And that's just in one summer. Mary Asplund, the program's director, said that Fred was a roaring success, and she's been a very helpful advisor to us throughout the process. The Federal Way School District has shown that when it comes down to it, mobile rec centers work on this issue. And one of the reasons that it has worked so well in Seattle is because Fred has accepted the costs that come with this program. As you can see, these are our projected costs. These are our projected costs. Now, we believe that with these resources, we can deliver 15,000 congressionally funded meals to kids this summer. That runs to an only a $2 operational cost per meal delivered. And might I add that those $2 don't even include the 15,000 hours of play that come with it. Today's grand prize, coupled with United Way's grant, will cover all of our startup costs, which means that we could theoretically start building this program this week. See, the real cost of providing both food and fun to children is incredibly high. And we do them through great programs right now, like summer camps. But these programs, they're expensive. But the fact of the matter is that these programs work, which is why as taxpayers we accept them as good costs. And a $2 operational cost is a good cost as well, especially considering the results that it would deliver on an issue that matters. According to the Journal of Nutrition, children in food-insecure households report being hungry, but often resort to coping strategies instead of actually looking for new food sources. For example, maybe they don't put as much food on their plate because they know that to their family, leftovers are very valuable. Or instead of eating until they're full, they eat till they're not hungry and save the other half of the apple till later. And in these food-insecure families, where the source of the next meal is often unknown, we see that children suffer from slower cognitive, academic, and psychological development. And to be frank, there are far too many food-insecure families in this city. We have a 28% poverty rate, a school district where that's three-quarters of the students are on the free or reduced price lunch program. There are just too many of these food-insecure families, and far too many children that are waiting for a system that works for them. What we're offering today is a pilot program. We want to bring a new approach to an old problem that has wreaked havoc on far too many Philadelphia families. And believe it or not, this is not the first time that Philadelphia has offered some new thinking on this idea. In 1894, the Star Center Association ran the country's first ever school lunch program right here in Philadelphia, and they didn't even have Congress to pay for the food. These efforts kickstarted new thinking on this issue, and as a country, we decided to address it. So with Philip Philly, we want Philadelphia to offer a new approach yet again, and the real results that go with it. Results that are backed by the belief that so many of the major stakeholders have shown in this program. We have these commitments from important players because they know that the small investment of Philip Philly will bring the city of brotherly love kids who are happy, healthy, and most importantly, kids who aren't hungry. Decades ago, Congress put the money on the table, and now they just need us to bring the kids to come and sit and eat at it. Thank you.
So what I like about this is the way you guys have built on a widely recognized Philadelphia strength, right? I was familiar with the 50% number. And I thought that was kind of an interesting strategy, right? To try to take a relatively high bar and well-performing domain and improve it even further. So I congratulate you on that. I kept wanting to see, so great problem. I'm going to ask this question again about, the motivation for your, what's your real theory of the problem and the logic model of intervention, right? That's kind of implicitly behind what you guys are trying to do. I kept on waiting for a map, right, in the presentation or in your proposal, right? Because you move to a intervention that is about access, right? And it's about deploying access through your vehicle to some destination, right? So what can you tell us about the existing map or the map of existing sites and its geographic dispersion throughout Philadelphia as it layers on top of that 50% of children who are not now participating in the program?
I don't think it's working. Is it? Oh, okay. So we talked with various organizations who's organizing this. So NDS actually sent us supporting letters, and then NDS is helping us to figure out the sites, which Hunger Coalition Against Hunger has the map showing all the sites in Philadelphia, not the play street that is organized by the Department of Parks and Recreation, but then we have all those maps. And then we originally, using ArcGIS, I figured out the sites that I thought which would be the area that needs most help. But then there are already sites around, so we don't want to work against them. We want to work collaboratively. So we want to have communication among different players, and they already have the maps. So we are putting more additional services to them.
Yeah, if I could just add a little piece to that. Every day we're learning new things about our mapping. So thus far, the Hunger Coalition initially identified the Riverworks part, which is in Upper Kensington and Frankfurt, just because they do know that there are existing sites, but based on the eligible data from the school, as well as the census block data, that's the potential site that we could get into, assuming that we have to serve the meals from 10 to 2 and the 30 minutes transportation times, and that's per USDA regulations. So that's the initial site that they have suggested so far.
Great. So my question is just going to build on Mark's a little bit, and you almost answered it. Do you see in the pilot program the vehicle being at one site each day, or do you see being at multiple sites across the city?
Sure. So we came up with 3 sites just because the timing of the meal distribution per USDA regulation is from 10 to 2. And in order to utilize that time perfectly well, we wanted first site to serve 10 to 11, then 30 minutes transportation time, and so forth. And those 3 sites, it's still an ongoing process of where we're exactly going to go, but will be determined by the Hunger Coalition. Actually, Hunger Coalition uses Health Department, the GIS, so we'll be in touch with them.
And the mayor's office.
And the mayor's office.
And in addition to that, so bus stays for an hour one side, but then bus leaves after an hour. But then the staff member who's coordinating all the programs and stuff, they're gonna stay at the site so the children can play as long as they want, and then we come back to pick up trash over the 3 sites.
Actually, the trashing portion was very important piece from the NDS, as well as other sponsors in Philadelphia areas, because it's such an issue, especially when the summer meals that's being distributed are prepackaged, has a lot of papers in it, as well as the milk cartons, which is milk is a required portion of the USDA meal. So.
One of the big challenges in the summer is families get disconnected with the school system and some of the things going on. Beyond the community organizations, how are you going to get to the community, let them know where you're going to be at any given moment, at any point?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one thing that we mentioned, the No Kid Hungry survey that we've been getting a lot of our data from about what parents want. And one of the things that they also really stressed was where they want to receive information about these programs. And it was through the schools. And so we would plan on actually taking our bus to the school during the last week that they're still in session and showing it to the kids. And then also driving into the neighborhoods during this week that the school is still in session and handing out pamphlets and letting them know that we're going to be there and this is who we are. And so we won't just surprise them and they'll say, we don't trust you because we don't know who you are. So.
Also, I went to see the Liz at Penn. Do you know the the Philadelphia Higher Education Network? Yeah, she's really happy about this program, and she's going to give us the contacts within the community, because each community has different big key players within the community. Every community's district is different, so we're gonna contact them directly, whether it's the parents coalition or the school, I don't know, the school leader or the block leader. We're gonna contact them directly so that we'll be collaborating this. And one thing that is innovative about this is we are putting all the different organizations and the existing resources all together, so that it's not just putting the new layers on it.
Yeah, and also just utilizing existing sources such as Hunger Coalition. They have text hotline and the phone going on, and also Philly 301 from Out From Your Office. They give the list of summer meal sites off there, as well as us being contact with the utility companies, so that PGW or PICO, we could include our little pieces in the May bill, so that we could actually start from June.
I love the presentation. I think it was a perfect match of good graphics and then conversation as you presented. I'm a little not confused, but kind of concerned about the real value add as compared to alternatives. If they're getting $3.40, as your presentation says, for the meals, and you're adding another $3 to the cost, it seems to me that the delivery mechanism may not be the most efficient way to do this, and why, if the idea is getting kids to eat free meals, why not work directly with the rec department and have them do this so that it's not caught up in a bus and a sort of an overlay of additional activities? What's the value add?
So the city is trying to solve the lack of access. They're trying to build more and more sites, Play Street, blocking the street, and making it a summer meal sites during the summer and stuff. But then there are some people who just don't come because of lack of motivation. They fear to go into some parents feel not safe to send their kids in certain areas. And then also some of the children would go for the food because they're part of the church or part of summer camp. But then we are targeting the children who are not within that system right now. They are because of lack of access, lack of motivation. We are trying to put this all together, to solve the lack of access and lack of motivation at the same time, while other organization is just trying to solve one or the other.
Yeah, I just want to add to that I completely understand your concern, but to keep it in perspective, so the current means that a lot of kids are actually getting fed and entertained over the summer is through summer camps, which have a much higher than $2 operational cost per kid. And so we fund those through taxpayer dollars. So the point we're making here is that this is actually a cheaper way to do that, and then it also gets over and above those kids who enroll in summer camps, because frankly, there's not enough space. Summer camps are great, but they have waiting lists, and not all the kids can participate in those. It also, as Minju was saying, it takes a certain amount of initiative and understanding of the system and the availability of these options in order to get signed up in the first place. Frankly, I mean, a recent study by Technically Philly just came out, and up to a quarter of Philadelphia households don't even have internet access. So we think there's a real beauty to a system that brings the bus right to them. And if they don't have the means to understand that these resources are available, we can show them.
So probably after the pilot program, the first year we'll have better numbers, estimates. We didn't want to like just estimate how much cost saving to just not having our play sites because of this and stuff. So and then we are more like competing for the not for the cost saving, but it's about the value that the children are getting. Those children, the 50% are just left alone during the summer. Their parents go for the work. They're just not doing anything during the summer, and then they're being hungry.
So you already have been invited by the, what I'm reading here, by the mayor's office to submit a application for a grant?
Yes, so actually, yeah, the Mayor's Fund for Philadelphia invited the finalist teams to submit an application for that grant. And then we're also in communication with the Fun Safe Philly Summer Program at the Mayor's Office, which is in charge of, overseeing programs exactly to this effect. And when we contacted them, they were so excited because they've been wanting to get a mobile meals program off the ground for a while now. So we met with them at City Hall, and we're going to be in close communication about getting this going.
And going back to Seattle, how long have their program been in existence?
One summer.
One summer?
Yeah,
and
one
so
summer.
in one summer, it reduced to 24%?
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
How
And they
was that again?
actually,
It increased?
it increased the amount of meals being served by 24%.
In one summer?
One summer. And to add to that, they didn't start working on this until, this was in the summer of 2013. They didn't start working on this until the end of March 2013. They got it off the ground, and they increased meals by 24%.
Has any of you actually been there to see it for yourselves?
We haven't been gone
No.
to Seattle. I'm going to be in Seattle this summer, though. I'm going to hope
See
to hook
see
up with
that.
her, yeah.
And we have other mobile sites, the best practices in New York City and in Houston as well, in its place.
You see New York City?
Yeah. Well,